Hello, everyone. Welcome to. We don't even have a title for the show, but this is a video podcast special for AAPI Heritage Month for May. And I am here with Kesya, our intern at CCTV.
Hi, guys.
I will let her introduce herself. Kesya, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you study? What college do you go to? And all of that basic stuff.
Okay, so I'm Kesya. I have a very long name. I have like 5 words in my name. So
You can say it.
Putu Agung Kesya Wisma Winata. So I use my middle names as my nicknames, and my last name is Winata. So
Nice.
I came a long way from Indonesia. I live in Bali. I used to live in Bali.
Ooh, nice.
So tropical island.
Yep.
And also I'm studying business right now, and I went to Parkmanor College.
Nice. And my name is Alfonso Mateo. I am also born and raised in an island in the Philippines. And then I migrated to the US in 2009 when I was like 11 years old. So we're both from Southeast Asian countries, Indonesia and the Philippines.
Okay.
And I thought it would be a good idea to just talk about anything Indonesian and Filipino for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month this May. So let's jump into it. Kesya made up about 8 questions related to our culture and all of that stuff. So let's get into it.
Okay, here we go. First question: what brings you to America?
What brings me to America? Well, in 2009, I got here because my dad petitioned me, and he went through all that paperwork stuff because he's been living here since 1996.
Oh.
Basically, ever since I was born. And then he became a U.S. citizen. And then when he became a U.S. citizen, he then made all of the paperwork happen so he can grab me from the Philippines and then bring me to the United States. So that's what brought me to America, through a lot of paperwork and immigration process and all of that stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. How were you brought to America?
So I went here because of education. So I went to college here like 2 years ago. Yeah, I decided to just explore like another part of the world, because this is like
Nice.
literally 25 hours flight from my country.
Yeah.
So just explore new things,
Yeah.
challenge yourself.
So you're an international student
Yeah.
from Indonesia, and when you came to America for
study.
education to study and to just explore the other side of the world. Yeah, well, that's a long flight. I remember
Yeah.
whenever I would go to the Philippines for vacation, it's like 18 hours.
18 hours.
And there's
yeah.
like a layover somewhere in the Middle East or Hong Kong, and
a
then
transit,
and then a flight to the Philippines. It's a long journey.
Yeah.
Traveling from Asia to America.
America.
So yeah, whoever's planning on traveling there, good luck. It's worth it because it's beautiful over there, but it's a long flight.
Yeah.
We can go to the next question.
Okay, next question. What do you miss the most about your country? Like the most?
What do we miss the most about our country? What I miss the most is, I think, honestly, the environment and the neighbors and just the people.
Yeah.
Because unlike here in your neighborhood, it's like, it's so quiet. And everyone is in their own little homes, a lot of space next to each other. But in the Philippines, there's not a lot of space. There's always a ton of people just out on the street, walking, hanging out, um, drinking, eating outside on the street. And like, I just miss the liveliness of the people and the environment, because there's always something happening. Yeah, there's always something, there's always an activity, there's always an event. It's lively, and that's what I miss the most about the Philippines. And of course, the food. A lot of street food and Filipino pastries I can't find here. And I can only find them back home in the Philippines. And it always tastes better because it's authentic and it's fresh. And, someone who's like really a local Filipino person like made the food. So I miss that one. And then the weather. It's always hot all year round. There's no winter. And the islands too. I love the island. There's so many beaches in the Philippines. And I haven't explored a lot of them. I've only explored like probably 3 or 4 islands in the Philippines, but there's a lot of places to go to and travel to and explore in my country. What about you?
I think I have the same idea, like mostly. I'm totally agree with you, Alfonso. Like, first of all, I miss like the foods, because back in my country, it's like a lot of spices in their food, and it's like it brings like so much flavor. While here, it's like less spices.
Oh, really?
And it's only,
I
salt.
never knew that.
And I can't find like Indonesian restaurant here
Oh, in Boston?
at all. Yeah, in
Not
Boston.
one.
Not one.
Wow.
And that's interesting facts about Boston,
Yeah.
because Boston is so diverse, right?
Yeah.
Like so many international students.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know couples. I know like more than 100 like Indonesian too live
Oh.
here, but I still can't find the restaurant. So
Actually, I agree. There's no Filipino restaurant in Boston.
Oh, really?
Except for one. There's only one
One?
Filipino place. And it's not even in Boston. It's in Somerville. But there's only one, and they're pretty new too. But there's not a lot of Filipino food. But I feel like there's an Indonesian restaurant in Chinatown called Panang.
Oh, probably that's Malaysian.
Oh, Malay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think you're right.
Our food is like pretty similar, like the taste wise, but it's still different.
It's still different. Yeah. It's definitely different.
Indian food also tastes like Indonesian food.
Really?
Yeah. It's just, like,
Nice.
spices. And okay, first is foods and second beaches.
Beaches, yeah.
Because it's like it's like 5 minutes away from my
Wow.
home.
Like walk or driving?
Driving.
Driving?
Like walk, it could be like 20 minutes. It's not that
Wow,
bad.
that's
And from one beach to another beaches, you can just like take 10 minutes driving. Like you don't even like so I surf too, and I miss since I came
Oh, you
to
surf?
Boston. Yeah.
Wow.
Since I came here, I never surf again. Like
Because there's nowhere to
way,
surf. Yeah.
But I went to the beach here though.
It's not the same.
Beach. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And
No.
the water is so cold. I was so surprised.
Yeah,
I went
it's-
there like in the fall.
It's not comparable
it's
like to the
not-
Asian beaches back home.
Yeah.
But wow, you surf.
Yeah.
Describe Bali for me, like,
Oh,
because I've always that's on my bucket list of like to travel to.
Of course.
But how would like give me a picture of
Bali.
Yeah.
So Bali is a small island, part of like thousands other island in Indonesia, and it's like close to Java. Java is like the main island in my country, and our capital is
Yep.
there, and everything, and we are beside them. It's a favorite tourist
Yeah,
destination.
it's a very tourist spot, yeah.
Tourist spot. although we're like small and it's a lot of crowd, it will be a lot of crowd of in holiday season because everybody's just visiting us.
Like December,
Yeah,
January?
December, January will be the peak. And also a lot of immigrant, like 30% more is like immigrant. So and also a lot of like nightlife and entertainment in there because it's the tourist destination. I mean, entertainment is the, like the number one business there.
Nice.
A lot of villa hotels, like hospitality like that, and then the restaurant too, like a lot of like American, Mexican, Thailand, like it's so diverse too there. So you can
Nice.
find like you always can find your foods there.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot.
What is like the main Indonesian food that you miss?
Oh, the main Indonesian food, it's like grilled pork. So
Grilled
the way they make it the whole pig, like being roasted.
Wait,
Yeah,
I know.
you
Yeah,
know?
we do that in our Filipino culture too. It's called
Oh.
lechon, and it's a whole roasted pig.
Yeah, whole roasted.
And sometimes you can see them being cooked, and they just turn and
turn and
on a
turn.
wheel
Yeah,
until-
That's exactly the same.
I don't eat it, but almost my entire family eats it. But yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I like it because it's probably the difference is like our so the pig. So inside the pig, they put like a lot of spices.
Oh, I
And
see.
it becomes like spicy because I love spicy foods.
Yeah.
And that's just, you can find it like it tastes seems like pork belly
I
roasted.
see.
So actually they just cut it into pieces and
Yeah.
they just eat it. But
Do you
I
like the
miss it.
skin? Because my family
Yeah,
loves the skin.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And
the
there's
skin.
like a brown gravy that we dip it in, and it's sometimes I eat the skin, but I'm like it's not my favorite.
Yeah, because it's oily. So.
Yeah. And I feel bad for the pig.
Yeah, pig is cute.
Yeah, but I still eat meat anyway. I'm not a vegetarian or anything.
Okay.
So what's the next question?
So the next question is, what's so different, like living in
America and living at home? I think the difference is, I would say, the culture. I think because in the Philippines it's a very tight knit community. And pretty much everyone knows each other, and if you need anything you can just go to the plaza or the market and just get whatever you need. Unlike here, it's like sometimes you need to drive. If you live in the suburbs, you sometimes need to drive a long way just to go to the market. And then everything here in America is so like spread apart. Like you have to like drive a long way to get to wherever you need to. Unlike in the Philippines, it's like there's a lot of stores, a lot of places to like go to. You don't need to travel a long way just to get to the mall or to the store or to the market. Like everyone is close. Everything is close. And I think that's like the main difference of living here in America and then living in the Philippines. But also like, again, the tropical weather. You don't need to like layer up. And like in Boston, it gets like winter gets really bad and like really cold. So I'll need to have a lot of jackets and layers. Unlike in the Philippines, like it's just all year round. It's pretty much summertime. Yeah.
In Bali too, of course.
Yeah. What is the main difference for you?
The main difference, as you mentioned before, the neighborhood one, because we literally like live in this place and where everybody's know each one,
each other, yeah.
and it just like building up the new family is like easier than in the US. Like we going out together and like the kids will also gathering like playing
outside. Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
We don't even have park, but they just play.
You just play outside
Yeah.
their homes and on the street. I
and
used to do that all the time
yeah,
too.
yeah. Like in every morning or evening, the mother or everyone just sweeping the street.
Yeah.
Like because we have garden sometimes, and we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
and they talk each other and
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I used to live in a small village in the Philippines, like a gated community,
yeah.
and the houses are right next to each other. Every morning, you would see. For me, my grandma would be at the garden, like watering the plants, and then you can see your neighbor, like on the other houses, like also at their gardens, like doing whatever. And every morning in the Philippines, there would be street vendors, like walking on the street, selling either hot bread, or there's this one called taho, and it's basically a tofu pudding with tapioca and brown sugar syrup, and it's so good. And I think that's what I miss the most. Every morning, there's a street vendor who would just walk down around the village.
Yeah, I feel you too.
And yell out whatever they're selling. It's either like pastries, hot bread, random desserts,
even coffee. In my country, they bring the thermos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then
Nice.
they just make instant coffee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there is a lot of vendor, like fruit vendor too.
Yeah,
like,
fruit vendors.
and milk and everything.
Yeah. So the food comes to you.
Yeah.
Here, you would never see that. Besides, probably like an ice cream truck.
Yeah, ice cream
on the
truck,
summertime.
probably,
Yeah, that's like the closest thing to that here in America. But in the Philippines, like, there's so much like food vendors just walking around on the street, like coming to your houses door by door, and like just trying to sell the food. And I miss that part.
Yeah. What's again so different? Yeah, the culture.
Yeah.
It's hard to me to keeping up like in American discussion or just speaking in general, because in a group like American tends to like talk just throw up what they're thinking, while in my culture we wait until someone stop talking, like and then we just convey our idea if there is nobody to say something, and then but here we just the ideas and the topic is like so changed so fast, and I have to like keeping up because I'm afraid like to stop someone talking because it's like impolite in my country,
like talking over each other.
Talking over. So
interesting.
So I have to like change my mindset.
Yeah,
like it's okay to stop someone.
Yeah, like they don't mean to disrespect you.
Because
that's interesting.
That's it's like to old people too. We don't like talk casually. There's a strict like hierarchy there, like to old and young people. So when I come here, it's like a new thing, but it's like interesting things to try to like talk casually, like not disrespectfully, but just casually.
Yeah. I feel like that is like the whole vibe of America. Like everything is so fast paced. Like not even just the conversations and talking, like even moving on the street, everything is like on the go. Like I feel like it's the American mindset that they always have to be doing something. They always have to be fast. They always have to be working. Like no breaks whatsoever. Like it roots to capitalism, where people just work hard in order to earn money, and like just always thinking of profit and like how to succeed, and like I feel like that like the talking over part and just keeps talking about multiple topics in one conversation. I feel like that that's just how it is with Americans because they're like always on the go.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
Yeah, you got my point.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
And I can relate what you're saying because back in my country it's like slow. You even can see like people with bikinis in their motorcycle and they can like speak to one each other like when they're driving their motorcycle and whatever. Yeah, we just slow, like we smile to people like that we pass by, and then we just can end up like talking in the street even. Like, but here everybody just keep moving,
exactly. Like in the Philippines, life is definitely a little slower and really slow pace. Because it also connects back to like how there's not a lot of jobs available to Filipinos in the Philippines. So there's really nothing to do besides just having a slow, relaxed life. I mean, sometimes it's hard, but sometimes people like it. But it's definitely, life is slower in the Philippines and then it's way faster over here. So like, there's really no balance between the two. But yeah, those are the main difference between our countries.
Okay, next. Oh, we answered it already. And then, do you think you changed when you moved to America?
I think, because when I moved, I was 11, and I was fairly young. But I think I changed in a way where I'm definitely more westernized. And I definitely have the kind of like the American traditions and ways in me. And I feel like I'm definitely changed in a way where I'm very liberal. Like I'm not scared of doing what I want to do. And just feeling free. Like that's a good thing about like living in America. You can feel free, and in terms of like being gay and being open and being proud, like you can celebrate it here, unlike in the Philippines where it's still like the LGBTQ community is still fighting for their rights. And same-sex marriage is still it's still illegal in the Philippines and they're still fighting for it, versus here I can be whoever I want to be. And I feel like that's the change that I had to go through when I moved here. Like in a good way. It's a good change because I can explore myself more freely than how I would have been in the Philippines.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm glad you are in America.
Yeah.
Because definitely I can like explore myself more too. Like, because there's a lot of things like I see here like different back in my country. And I just want to try many things so I can find like what I like and what I do not like. And then the freedom of speech and like conveys your ideas like in so many ways, like visually, like verbally. I feel like people also like appreciate us like to being like genuine here, like instead of like following a stereotype, because that's what happened in my country, because they live like with the stereotype, like because like the generation before them is already into that like hierarchy or stuff. So we,
like the older generation doesn't understand the younger generation type.
And they still like acting like that way. But here everybody's like more open-minded.
Definitely more open-minded. I'm not saying everyone in the Philippines. There's definitely like a community there that's open and like supporting. And it's probably not that bad, but it's still a little more free. There's more
The
freedom here
yeah,
than back there.
yeah, I mean that's a beautiful side too from my country, like the culture, the tradition. It's
Yeah.
unique, like genuine, but yeah, I like the more freedom.
Yeah.
And I'm Aquarius, by the way, so that's why I love like freedom. Aquarius. What's your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
Okay,
Yeah.
Capricorn. It's not that bad.
Yeah, my best friend is an Aquarius.
Oh,
Yeah. When were
we're
you
the best.
born? January?
January.
Or when? January?
22nd.
Oh, wow.
Of
My
January.
best friend is 27.
Wow.
But I am 12.
Oh, you're
That's why I'm
12.
a Capricorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom is Capricorn too.
Hmm.
Yeah, Capricorn is nice.
Capricorns are chill. And
Yeah,
laid
chill.
back. But
Um,
Aquariuses are like very out there. I
yeah,
feel
out
like.
there.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
why
Yeah.
that's why I love the freedom
Yeah.
more. So yeah, it's like baked to your personality wise. And what changed? Oh, when I FaceTime with my family the other day, I ate sandwich during the FaceTime,
Yeah.
and they was like, "What? You can eat sandwich now?" I don't like sandwich because bread for me, bread is for sweet, like for yeah, because yeah, it's a little bit bread is sweet for me. Like hot
Yeah.
dog, I can't do hot dog too.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer I eat everything. I'm not picky eater, but I just not prefer. If I can like eat hot dog without the bread, I will eat it with rice rather.
Oh, I
than-
eat hot dog with rice too.
Yeah,
and
but
ketchup.
Yeah, and
like,
ketchup. Yeah, but without the bread. I
Yeah.
just
I
yeah, it
also
doesn't
am
belong
not.
to.
I'm not a big bread person. I feel like a lot of Asian people aren't into bread like that.
into bread, like
Like for dinner or for lunch, like we really don't eat. We have to eat rice and like something else. But yeah,
and and my family surprised that I can eat sandwich now, and I was like, oh, this is the easiest thing that I can make. So
it's like the fast like the most convenient food.
yeah.
Like
the
you just have to
fast-
grab
yeah,
and go and like eat whatever is the easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, the rooting,
wet.
like going back to like the busyness of life here in America.
Yeah. That's a fact. And have you ever like experienced racism?
Wow, that is a deep question. Have I ever? I'm fortunate enough to not experience it directly. Not like not like a very aggressive racism, but maybe like microaggression, where it's like if you bring smelly Filipino food and your classmates are like, that stinks, and like, what is that? It smells bad. And it's not really, it's called microaggression, and it's not really like a direct racist attack.
Yeah.
But I feel like definitely my parents probably did, because they're not fluent in English. And whenever, I feel like they've probably encountered people in the past while working telling them to like speak English and like how they can't understand them. So that I feel like that roots back to racism, about calling out people not being able to speak English, and like go back to your country type comments. Like, yeah, but luckily I haven't experienced it directly, and that's a privilege. I think I'm privileged to be able to say that I haven't experienced it. But I probably did. I just didn't notice, or I just didn't realize that I was being targeted by a racist. But have you?
Yeah, but for me, it's not happened to me at all. I think, or I just didn't realize it, like
Yeah.
what you said before, because I think it's the mindset that like small things can offend you or not.
Yeah.
It's like depends on your way of thinking of something. And then and for me, I think it's not racism, but it's a fun thing that happened to me. So I experienced this 3 times. People speak Spanish to me.
Oh, really?
I don't even look like Asian. I think so. They recognize me as Latina.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
speak
yeah.
Spanish. It's not because they can speak English,
Uh-huh.
but they just switch their language for me because they
I think
thought-
that happened to me a couple of times too.
yeah,
Because a lot of Filipinos can be mistaken as
As-
like someone who's Spanish or
Yeah.
Hispanic or Latino because of our features.
oh, because we're a little
Um,
bit tan.
Yeah. And I feel like Southeast Asians like
Yeah,
you
so
too can be mistaken as someone from a Hispanic or Latin country. But I don't think it's racist. It's just
yeah, it's not racist, but
Yeah.
it's just miscommunication.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't find it racism,
Mm-hmm.
but I also heard like from my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So they experienced these terrible things happen to them in a train. So there is
Here in Boston?
In Boston, like
What happened?
they're on their way to somewhere, and then in the train they met like 2 old couples, white, and they just screaming at this girl,
Oh my god.
my friend's friend, and then they end up like spit on her, like
Oh my
literally
God.
over the hair and
This was
everything.
like this year or
this last year fall.
Wow.
And I was so surprised because I thought because here like diversity here is like
No.
yeah
Yeah, there's a lot of
From-
problems
yeah.
in especially in Boston where it's like it's heavily white. There's a lot of white people here in Boston and racism is not it's not new here in the city. But yeah, that's really upsetting to hear. Especially nowadays or even like the past couple of years where it's like this Stop Asian Hate movement where people have been targeting mostly older Asian elderly people and also Asian women. They've been getting attacked, being pushed on the train tracks.
I was there before. Is that in New York?
Recently a woman was pushed on the train tracks in New York, but also on some like stairs or building in Times Square. She was also pushed. And there were Asian women. So we live in scary times where Asian women really need to be careful moving around the city, especially if it's predominantly white and like and if it's New York City and it's like a crowded area. But yeah, we're not invisible from like racist people too. Like we can also get like if white people can be racist to black people, like they can also be racist to Asian people a lot, many times. So I hope your friends are okay because
they are crying. They were.
Did
crying
they report it to the?
They don't even like encounter her or do whatever. They just when they spit on them, they just go outside.
They
left
the train
on the next stop, and then they just cried. They just too shocked to like respond. And that's.
So they never got the picture.
Never, I think.
Wow.
That's happened, but
I mean, it definitely happens, and it sucks. So.
And I was in the same station when Asian woman, like shoved by the homeless man in New York. I
yeah.
was there. Like,
Wow.
I
You
was,
saw it or?
no, but I didn't show
But you were
it. Like,
around.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah, and then we heard through radio, and I was like in the car, and I was like, wow. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost
That's why whenever I take the train, I'm like,
mhm.
I'm not on the ledge.
And the
I'm
ledge,
like
yeah,
against the wall.
back up a
Because
little
it's, again, we live in scary times. So, and I feel like the Stop Asian Hate movement is really important. And how people need to keep talking about Stop Asian Hate, and people need to keep speaking up about these hate crimes happening,
Yeah,
especially in like Chinatown, all
yeah,
around the country and the world. Like, someone's always being attacked. It's mostly the old elderly people.
yeah, the
And
vulnerable
it's
one.
sad, the vulnerable ones, yeah. And it's like, I don't know, like, we just have to keep looking after each other,
Yeah,
I guess. No matter what race you are, just, I don't know, be kind
yeah.
and like treat people with kindness.
Spread the words and like
Yeah.
tell what you see,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
But again, also always look behind your back. Always look who's next to you, because you never really know who's planning to attack you.
yeah.
So,
Just be aware.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then, what you like about what you like about America?
What do I like about America?
Yeah.
I mean, again, like
You really
earlier, the freedom
Oh yeah.
and like the rights. I mean, it's still not the perfect scenario, but if we're comparing it to our countries, like it's a little more liberated here, and you can move around more without fearing for your life and being judged. I mean, you can still be judged, but not as bad as how it would be, I guess, back home. Yeah.
I think America, the diversity, because I like
Yeah.
to
Oh, like
explore like all the cultures. So I like to meet people like who came from different place. Like
yeah.
yeah,
That's true.
So
I
it's
love the
interesting.
diversity
Yeah,
here.
it's so
Meeting
interesting.
other people from other countries and like yeah.
like know how they live, like taste their foods, and everything. So
Yeah. That's what I like about this country. It's like a melting pot
yeah,
of a lot of different
Definitely.
people just mixing together, and it's great. There's still a lot of like people against it, but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the more colorful, the more beautiful it is.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
And then is that
I
your
think-
was that your last question?
Yeah, that's a wrap.
I guess that's a wrap on our AAPI Heritage Month special. I hope you guys learned a lot about Indonesia and the Philippines, or got to know more about it. I definitely love my country, and I know you do too.
I love my country.
I can't wait to go back, probably next year, just to visit. But yeah, I love the Philippines. I love being Filipino. Most of my identity is rooted in Filipino culture, and everything that I do, I always try and let it be known that I'm Filipino. And I'm a writer, so everything that I write about always has to have like a Filipino main character and some sort of Filipino culture embedded on the story. So I do love and embrace my Filipino heritage and culture, and I let it be known to people that I am Filipino.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so nice of you.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm proud being Indonesian. Like, because we have diverse culture too, and although we are like a newborn country, because we just our independence is like in 1945, so we're newborn.
That is
Yeah,
pretty
it is.
recent. Yeah.
And yeah, I want to bring a change when I finish school and stuff here to my country to like develop more, and also like not westernize it, just make them like grow more,
A little more open-minded.
open-minded.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying. And yeah, I can't wait to go back to visit my family again.
Yeah.
Probably next year too, not this year, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of like things to do here.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And just kind of like give back
yeah,
to
yeah,
our motherland.
Yeah.
So
But-
yeah, that's nice.
I definitely feel you too. Like when I took creative writing class, and I have to like write a story and
Yeah.
also write a poem, and I wrote about like my home.
Right,
Tongue,
about our
yeah.
home, about Indonesia, about being Indonesian. Yeah, same. I'm proud of
Yeah.
being from the Philippines, born and raised. So
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause-
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Kesha, for coming up with the questions and doing this video podcast special for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Some people call it Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, because not everyone is Asian American.
Yeah.
Like you're just Asian.
Asian,
I used to be
yeah.
just Asian, but now I just recently became a citizen, so now I'm Asian American. But yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge that sometimes people call it Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month to be more inclusive. But hopefully you guys learned a lot, and I appreciated our conversation about Indonesia and Philippines. And yeah, just spread love and stop Asian hate, and just learn more about Asian cultures.
Yes. Acknowledge yourself, guys.
Yeah.
And also, spread kindness.
Yeah, spread kindness. And again, thank you
Thank
for
you.
watching and listening. Goodbye.
See ya.